From Soul Ring to Solemn Offering, Magic fans are passionate about a lot of things. There's something they love above all else. That is correcting people. This is not Actually. Hi, I'm Harrison. I run these here parts. One thing I've definitely ran into over the years of producing Magic content is that nerds can be picky. Big surprise, right? Part of the reason I stopped making deck techs was people always found a new reason to complain. This deck's too complicated, it'll never do what you want. This deck's too simple, why'd you even bother posting this video? I know you're making this video because it's a new commander from a new set, and you're cashing in on the SEO and hype, but you should be making this a completely different commander. I thought that it would be the end of it when I stopped making deck techs and moved on to more of a video essay format, but people still complain about seemingly random things. I make YouTube shorts. A lot of people roll their eyes at shorts, but they were a lifesaver when I was student teaching roughly 20 weeks of the past year, and would frequently have to put in 10 to 12 hour days just to be fully prepared. I didn't have time to make longer videos, so I batch produced a bunch of these videos in my series Creature Type of the Day. Although this series is the only one I still make regularly, when I had more free time, I'd also produce other shorter series. One was Random Commanders. Really basic, 30 seconds of video. I'd hit random on EDH Rec and throw that commander on the screen and talk about the deck and all the fun synergies and call it a day. At the time of me writing this, I've made roughly 300 YouTube shorts, as I've found that while it takes time to produce long-form content, I like to have something going out regularly. Out of my 300 YouTube shorts, number 8 most in views is for this commander. I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I mispronounced it in that video more than once, and I still receive comments on that video calling me lazy and a moron. My personal philosophy when it comes to mispronouncing card names is that this is a fictional fantasy card game, and these names I'm mispronouncing don't really matter at the end of the day, so I don't 100% care about getting it right all the time. And as speaking as someone now with a Bachelor of Education, if you want someone to learn something or fix a behavior, you can do so with kindness. Because if you approach it as, hey, everyone look at this guy, he's the biggest idiot around, they're never going to want to listen to you, and they'll never learn. I'm not the only person that gets comments like this. I follow Veggie Wagon on TikTok, and he's constantly posting crazy commander combos. They're great videos and well thought out. But without a doubt, almost every video has a comment saying that this combo just doesn't work. Here's the secret. The combos always work. Commenters will correct people even if they're inherently wrong, or even if the mistakes were intentionally planned. Another creator in the community, Keeping It Casual, frequently posts about neat little interactions that show up in Magic and how they'd resolve. Even as someone who has played the game for over a decade now, I am still floored by his Magic knowledge. Like, I think I know a lot about Magic the Gathering, and then I watch this guy's videos. He posts cool interactions, and without fail, you look into the comments, and someone is saying that he is wrong, and that cards don't actually work the way he stated. Now here's the little fun secret, he's never wrong. So that brings me to today's video. Consider this a jerk test. Today is the 9th of July, so over the next month, I'll be releasing a series of 10 YouTube shorts. They'll go up on days that my Creature Type of the Day videos aren't going up. I've decided to spotlight on commanders I like, but just haven't built for one reason or another. And half of these, I'll be correctly pronouncing card names, or at least trying my hardest, and the other half, I'll purposely be mispronouncing card names. And then I'll give it some time and we'll check the analytics. Are Magic players too sensitive? Is it worth it as a content creator to purposely mess up to drive up interactions with videos? We'll answer those questions in a second. Here are those videos now, I'll see you in the future. Pass Me lied to you. I want to situate this video in a different way than how I wanted to back in July, so it's now the end of September 2024. Looking at a calendar, it's actually the 24th. Let's start with the control group. These are the videos I tried my hardest not to mispronounce card names. I was genuinely trying to make a somewhat entertaining short. So I want to look at the shorts, look at the analytics, and then see if we can come to any conclusions. I'll be recording and talking about 5 analytics that YouTube provides for these shorts. The amount of views, the amount of comments, the amount of likes, how many subscribers it brought in, and how much money I made off that video. Important note before I start, the order I'm playing these in are not the upload date. When I did upload these, they were mixed together to throw anyone off my trail, just in case anyone thought I was intentionally doing this. I'm going to show these in order from least viewed to most. The least viewed video is Piper, Public Reporter. Too many commanders, not enough time. There are tons of commanders I've wanted to build, but just haven't gotten around to it. Piper Wright, Public Reporter. Whenever she hits, we get that many clues. Whenever we pop a clue, we can make someone bigger. I absolutely adore Voltron in Commander, and her two abilities perfectly bleed into each other. It gives me that good brain chemical. I really want to suit her up, smash in, make a bunch of clues, keep my hand full, and absolutely terrorize the board with a bunch of artifact shenanigans. But I don't like playing artifacts. There's part of me that's basically intimidated by how many artifact synergies there are in Commander. My analysis paralysis has prevented me from building this deck because I don't want to build it just to be missing some of the best and most obvious cards. This video received 1,300 views, 60 likes, and 7 comments. Some of these comments gave suggestions on where I should go from there, and some just generally sympathized with the series idea as a whole. I gained 1 new subscriber and made 30 cents on this video. The 4th most viewed video from the control group is Tatiova Benthic Druid. Too many commanders? Not enough time. There are a ton of commanders I wanted to build, but just haven't gotten around to it. Tatiova Benthic Druid says, play a land, draw a card, gain life. I used to love beating the drum of simple yet powerful, and Tatiova is the poster child of that concept. Commander is built on rampant card draw, and this commander rewards for doing one by paying you with the other. I'll die on the hill that this is the perfect commander for newer players, but I am very much not a Spike. I want to win games, and I don't mind winning in Commander, but I want to do it by my own terms. I don't like playing Simic. Simic can feel like a cheat code at times, and while it would be perfect for a newer player, I want my decks to have some more depth to it. This video received 1,900 views, 85 likes, and 2 comments. The sole comment that YouTube actually still displays is telling me why another commander is better, because that card is a may trigger on drawing instead of having to draw. It kinda ignores the point of the video, but alright. I gained no new subscribers on this video and made 44 cents. The 3rd most viewed video is Hamza, Guardian of Arashen. Too many commanders, not enough time. There are tons of commanders I wanted to build but just haven't gotten around to. Hamza costs less for more counters we have, and then discounts all of our other creatures for the amount of counters on the board. Its mana cost manipulates itself so much that we can cheat commander attacks if we play things well. I love counter strategies, and I always have fun throwing down cards like Cathar's Crusade when going wide. But this card feels like it was outclassed pretty quickly. I think it's still a pretty solid card and probably deserves a spot in the 99 of a bigger deck, but it doesn't have that flashy nature to it that some other counters commanders have. This video received 9,600 views, which is a massive step up from the previous video. It would also receive 3,600 likes and 15 comments. The comments this time around seemed more attentive to the video as a whole, as there were a lot of people talking about some of the more powerful things that you could pull off with Hamza, and some people were pointing to other commander decks they've built where Hamza was an all-star. I gained 4 new subscribers on this video and made $2.55. The runner-up for my most viewed video in the control section is Corvold, Fakehurst King. Too many commanders? Not enough time. There are tons of commanders I wanted to build but just haven't gotten around to it. Corvold, the Fakehurst King. When we sacrifice something, he gets bigger and we draw a card. He also demands a sacrifice on entry and on swinging. I love Voltron, and the only thing I love as much as Voltron is aristocrat decks. Just sacrificing stuff and getting tons of value and just a bunch of triggers, it's perfect. But my analysis paralysis definitely steps in during the deck building process for this dragon. I really want to build a lands deck with him as commander, but I really want to build a treasure deck with him as commander. But I also really want to build a traditional aristocrats deck with him as commander. And I'd much rather commit to one of these themes than to make one deck that is trying to be all 3. Why not make all 3? That might actually be what eventually happens. This video received 10,860 views, 440 likes, and 10 comments. A lot of comments expressed concerns over power levels when it comes to Corvold. It's very easy to whoopsie daisy, I'm a 10 out of 10 on the power ranking, while also adding their 2 cents on which way they'd build it personally. I gained 8 new subscribers in that video and made $2.51. My most viewed video in the control group was Linden, Steadfast Queen. Around to it. Linden the Steadfast Queen. Whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain a life. White is my favorite color in Magic, and Linden perfectly combines both going wide and gaining life, which are 2 strategies I just love in Commander. You don't even need to exclusively aim for payoffs that only get good when you have a bunch of life, but can instead look at cards that are about independent life-gaining triggers. But it being mono-white feels so restrictive, even with all the help White has received in the last 5 years. Sure, I can play these cards that ramp and draw cards, but it still feels like I need to adhere to these cards that we've only gotten recently. I really wish Linden had a second color. This video received 11,200 views, 500 likes, and 12 comments. Most comments were sympathizing with the idea that while white can be powerful and fun, it can feel too restrictive at times. Some people even offered alternative commanders that they run Linden in the 99 of. I gained 9 new subscribers from that video and made $2.51. Between these 5 videos in the control group, I made roughly 35,000 views, 46 comments, roughly 1,500 likes, and I gained 22 subscribers. I also ultimately took away $8.31. With YouTube Magic content creation, there are natural peaks and valleys with viewership and analytics like this. I think these 5 videos do a good job of showcasing the spectrum of my more successful and lesser successful shorts. Let's see how it compares to the videos that I was intentionally mispronouncing cards in. How do the analytics differ, and what does the comment section look like? It was easy making some of these videos because I genuinely don't know how to pronounce some of these card names. The least viewed video is Yarick. Uric the Desecrated doubles the triggers on ETB effects. I love Panharmonicon and other Enter the Battlefield's triggers, and running Uric as the commander allows you to run an extra copy of it in the command zone, which is ultimately the dream. But sure, black and green can have some cool ETB effects, and blue can flicker a little, but without white, it's like baking a cake without sugar. Sure, you can do it, just won't be as sweet. Okay, I gotta get double points on this video because I also intentionally mispronounced Panharmonicon. This video received 2,000 views, 72 likes, and 6 comments. Half of the comments are commenting on how strong this card is, while the other half of the comments are trying to dunk on me for mispronouncing card names. The video gained 1 subscriber, and it made 47 cents. The 4th most viewed video in this group is Arcades the Strategist. Arcades the Strategist lets us draw cards when we play defenders. They can also attack and deal damage as if their toughness was their power. I love the underdog story, so playing walls and defenders in Commander will always make my heart happy. It's also nice with Arcade's ability that they replace themselves. But this strategy collapses in on itself if your opponent kills Arcades. I know killing a commander stops the deck isn't the room temperature take you came here for, but most decks can at least function without their commander. You can run cards with similar effects, but since he cares so much about defenders specifically, there's less love for that. I'll stick with Doran. This video received 7,200 views, 247 likes, and 25 comments. I received 2 individual comments about my pronunciation. The one had 14 likes, which was enough to keep it at the top of the comment section, but I have to give it to the original commenter. When other people started jumping in, the original commenter clearly addressed that it doesn't really matter as long as everyone knows what the card is. The bulk of the remainder of the comments are suggesting other lines of play around this card or other decks that touch on a similar strategy. This video gained me 8 new subscribers and $1.67. The 3rd most viewed video was Gisa the Hellraiser. Gisa pumps and gives menace to zombies and skeletons and will make zombies on her own. Gisa's in a great creature type and is a great lord. And when you factor in that she makes her own creatures, that really adds a lot to this. Gisa also rewards us for playing interaction, which is something that too many people miss in Commander, but can also not often be worth it. I'm giving up a card that helps 2 of my opponents. Here we at least get more bang for our buck. But her triggers only once a turn, and sure we can play around this, but a lot of the best cards that are committing crimes involve casting a spell, which means we're spending mana and a card for her ability to trigger, and even if we do that every turn, we're getting out of cards really quick. Jesus is a good card besides that, but not good enough I'd be willing to spend 5 mana. This video received 8,400 views, 337 likes, and 8 comments. None of the comments refer to the mispronunciation. Instead, they make comments talking about the card and some decks they run it in, or how they run it as a commander. This video gave me 5 new subscribers and $2.07. The runner-up for most viewed video was Asmo. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to pronounce the whole card. Too many commanders, not enough time. Asmoran Nomardi Actistina Kildakar cheats herself into play, grabs the Underworld cookbook, and then we can start using food as removal. Both Asmoran Nomardi Actistina Kildakar and her cookbook play really well into a discard theme, which is a rare medium well done. I also think strapping removal to a commander is an easy way to mess with your opponent's plans, but 6 damage should kill most things, but I'd like for it to kill everything. And discard food themes can be fun, but we haven't seen enough support for them quite yet, so they feel like clones of each other. The video you're watching right now, I only made because of this card. This whole video was inspired by my recent interactions based off of this card. This video pulled in 9,170 views, 314 likes, and 12 comments. Of the 12, about half of them are commenting on my pronunciation, but just like the Arcades video, there are some commenters that came to my defense. After all, this is an objectively difficult name to pronounce. It has about 13 syllables for Pete's sake. The video ended up gaining 5 new subscribers and made me $2.48. First place, The most viewed video for both groups, frankly, is Phoenix God of Deception. Too many commanders? Not enough time. Phoenix God of Deception is one of the old Theros gods that lets us tap our creatures to mill our opponents. People can complain about mill all they want, but I've always had an eye on this card. We're going shields up and milling our opponents out on end step. I will always appreciate giving love to a section of cards that doesn't feel the love all the time, which here is walls or just general cards with big butts. But I don't like playing Control and Commander. Control is an easy way to get players to turn against you, and suddenly you're the arch enemy. Not to mention, mill is fun, but it's a hard thing to pull off in Commander. Now I'll admit, I didn't really lean into the mispronouncing bit as much as I have with the other videos. This video ended up with 15,400 views, 632 likes, and 13 comments. I gained 16 new subscribers and made $4.10 on it. So head to head, the Control group brought in 35,000 views, where the test group brought in 42,000. The Control group had roughly 20 fewer comments, 150 fewer likes, and 13 fewer new subscribers, and a little more than $2 less than the test group. So on paper, just looking at the general numbers, you might jump to the judgment that the videos where I intentionally used rage bait was more successful. And while that is technically true, let me scrutinize this a little bit more. On a video-to-video basis, the mispronounced videos don't really do much more than the Control group. If you look at each video individually, the top most viewed video is me rage baiting, and the bottom two are in the Control group. But in the middle, second place through fourth place are all regular pronunciations. Besides Phoenix, almost every rage bait video is between 5th and 8th place. So even if you come to the conclusion that rage bait gets more views or that it's a marginal success, I don't know if that's necessarily true either. Also, this is me adding this in unscripted, but if you look at my most viewed rage bait video, I kind of miss the mark and don't really rage bait. And if you look at my least viewed rage bait video, I try to do it even more than the other videos. Rage bait is not consistent enough to reliably work, or at least not for the scopes and limits of this video. My methods and the way I went about things is not reliable enough. I ultimately believe the result of this is inconclusive. There's some marginal success when it comes to rage baiting as a whole, but I think this video has demonstrated it's a lot more of a hit or miss situation. If I was going to do more testing, I think I would lean into something more jarring. Abandon mispronouncing card names for something like bad faith hot takes about the game. But there is an additional layer I wanted to mention here. I think part of the reason this wasn't successful was because I have a great community. On more than one of the videos where I was trying to rage bait, people scrutinized me, and then people stepped in and tried to de-escalate the situation. I appreciate it. It really shows how some of you are in my corner. I think I came to this video with frustration over some angry comments I've received. One of these comments was the straw that broke my metaphorical camel's back, and I wanted to put a mirror up to how negative and nasty some comments can be, but instead I found the members of my community, and the Magic community, who are willing to help their fellow human and be the reasonable person for a second. I think that's a true measure of a good person. If you're willing to do good, even when it doesn't directly benefit you, you're a good person. These people saw people trying to bully or dunk on me, they stepped in and said something. Even if it's from behind a keyboard, I'm still touched. But this does mean that if I try to do a future video where I do some Danny Gonzalez-esque testing, I'm gonna have to be disguised. Or I'll just do a video with the Warhammer 40k community, because I swear I could read their lore to them verbatim, and those babies would still cry. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to bolt your birds.